Okay, episode 3, talking about birth today. So before we start, we just want to say that birth stories can bring things up. Today we'll be sharing about induction, tearing, an emergency cesarean, post-birth separation. So if this is a triggering topic for you, please take care of yourself while you're listening. Pause if you need to, come back when you're ready, or skip it entirely. Alright, so today we're sharing our birth stories. 2 very different beginnings, one induced vaginal birth with some physical trauma and immediate skin-to-skin connection, one emergency cesarean with unnecessary separation after birth. We're not sharing to compare, we're sharing to normalise. Birth can be powerful, birth can be traumatic, birth can be both, and attachment isn't defined by birth or the first few hours, it's built in the days and years that follow.
Okay, Miss Sarah, Mrs. I want to hear your story first. I want you to share it first because you were the first to go through it.
I was.
You know, so actually your birth not impacted, but in a good way, like it influenced mine in good ways.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to share your story. You were induced at 40 plus 3,
That's
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as we shared last week, I had a difficult pregnancy for a few different reasons. So, coming into birth, I had high hopes for what birth would be like. I really wanted a vaginal birth. I wanted to try and see if I could do it without pain relief, but I was open to whatever I needed. I would say in the last kind of week before I gave birth, there were a few different days where R wasn't moving much. And each time that happened, I did what they say. I went in to get checked, and every time they put the scanner, what's it called? They put that thing around you know what it is.
You're asking a pregnant woman.
It's blue, it's pink, it's a trackery thing.
Yeah,
anyway,
brain doesn't work.
Every time they did that, he would suddenly start moving again, and it was fine. But at 40 plus 3, it had just happened kind of 2 or 3 times in a week. I went back in and they said, look, you know, he's cooked, he's ready, he's past full term. We need to induce you because, you know, we're concerned about these continuing episodes of movement, and I trusted that advice, I followed that advice. I was admitted to hospital that night to be monitored and was going to be induced at 6 a.m. the next morning. So that last night, thankfully, I don't think he was meant to, but the nurses let Rowan stay in the hospital room with me. At first we were told he was going to have to come back at 6 a.m, but they let him stay. And we ordered Japanese food and just sat there eating this meal thinking this is the last time that it's going to be us before R arrives. And yeah, even though we were anxious and it was in a hospital setting, we were kind of happy and excited. Yes. So woke up on the morning to be induced. I was wearing this huge oversized t-shirt that said boss of my own body.
I love that. I did not know that.
Just to let people know.
That is amazing.
I was going to do the thing. It was also a little bit ironic because at that moment I was the boss of my body and controlling everything. But yeah, yes. So I would say anxiety was pretty low. Honestly, I was excited. I was ready to meet him. I was trusting everything was going to go fine. Thankfully, I was already kind of on my way. I was, I think, 2 centimeters dilated. So I didn't need to have the catheter inserted and I didn't need to have the gel, which I am told is invasive and horrible. So I'm really grateful that I didn't have to do that. So the plan was break my waters, and then I asked if I could be given an hour after that to see if that would be enough, because I didn't want to have Pitocin unless I really needed it. So I made it really clear that that was something that was important to me, and I figured I'm 40 plus 3, I'm already dilated. I think if they break my waters, I could do this.
Yeah.
I really thought I would go into, it's not natural labour, but I thought, give me a kickstart and then I can go.
Yeah.
So they agreed to that. They said, yep, we can wait for an hour before we give you the drip after we break your waters. They go to break my waters, and nothing happens. Like, no liquid came out. I know my body. Nothing came out. And the midwife said to me, oh, it's not like the movies. Like, it's not a big gush. Like, it'll just trickle. It's just trickling out. I've definitely done it. I've definitely broken your waters.
You know when your waters break.
And
I'm sorry.
Like, knew
Well, at least most
that
of the time.
she hadn't done it right. Like, I just knew. So, but I think in that moment, you know, it's a vulnerable time. It's a vulnerable position. I'm trusting the experts.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying they've done it, and also it hurt like a bee, like getting up. Like, it was painful. So I was like, if you've done it, you've done it. An hour goes by, and obviously nothing happens. So they start me on the Pitocin. And as soon as they started...
Which is synthetic oxytocin.
Synthetic oxytocin. And I think that's the thing that's important to understand is the difference, one of the differences between an induced birth and a spontaneous labour is that when you labour spontaneously and naturally, you get oxytocin naturally, and oxytocin actually has pain-relieving elements. It comes kind of on more slowly. It builds you up. It's a lot more manageable.
It's a love hormone.
It's a love hormone. Whereas
literally,
Pitocin does the same stuff in terms of like it helps you dilate, but it doesn't. You don't get any of the good bits.
Pretty much all it does is like making your uterus contract, but there's no lovey-doveyness. There's no the warm feelings.
Yeah. So it is just.
And it's 0 to 100.
It's a harder labour, right?
Yep.
So
yep.
Pitocin contractions start. They are painful but manageable. I've done my prep. I've got a TENS machine. I'm in and out of the bath. I'm feeling okay. It gets to 11 o'clock. So 6 a.m. they think they broke my waters. Plot twist, they didn't. Gets to 11 a.m. and the shift change, another midwife comes in, and I say to her, hey, can you just check? Because I haven't felt any liquid coming out. It's been 5 hours now of Pitocin contractions, and I really don't feel like I'm progressing. And she checked and she said, I'm so sorry, but they haven't actually broken your waters. So I had been labouring with Pitocin for nearly 5 hours before they realised that they hadn't broken my waters. And then she went in to break my waters. And I'm sorry, but it was like a movie. It was the biggest gush in the world. Like, it felt like litres of fluid. Like, they had to change not only the pad under me, but all of the sheets on the bed. Like, it was like a movie. Mm-hmm. So I felt a little bit validated in that.
Yeah.
And as soon as they broke my waters, like, it just went from 0 to 100. Like, it completely ramped up.
Yep.
Rowan was there. He was doing a really great job of being a birth partner. He was supporting me. My doula was going to come later. She was going to come, I think, at 2 or 3, because she was happy to come earlier, but I was coping quite well just with Rowan, and I didn't want to interrupt the vibe, so I asked her to come a bit later. It's so real. It's so raw still, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So I was using all my tools. It was hard. I was in pain, but I was coping okay. Then shit got bad. They kept insisting on doing vaginal checks. I found those vaginal checks more painful than contractions by a mile. I found them deeply invasive. Like, I was very uncomfortable with them. I was trusting that they needed to be done, but I was in tears every time they were doing it. Like, it really, really, really got to me. I was really not coping with it. And I was also on a monitor, because when you're induced, you have to be on a monitor to check baby's heart rate. And ours heart rate was doing some weird shit. It was going really, really fast, and then really, really slow, and it wasn't going well. So they thought he might be in distress. And they said to me, they'd just done, literally within 5 minutes, they'd done a vaginal check, and then about 5 minutes later they came in, and they said, we're not sure what's going on with Bub's heart rate. We need to do this test to see if he's in distress, where we take a bit of blood from the top of it, like we go up your vagina and take a blood from the top of his head. Maybe I'm butchering this, I'm not a medical person. But anyway, long story short, they needed to do another check. So they did another check, and it wasn't the doctor, it was the midwife. The doctor ordered the check, but the midwife did it. So she did all the things, she was up there, and then did a huge flip, a big move, and she said, oh, well, he can't be in distress, he's moving fine, we're not going to do it, and took everything out. And then the doctor came in. So at this point, it was causing me so much distress. I just had 2 of them in about 10 minutes. And then the doctor came back in and said, why didn't you do that test? I really need you to do it. we're going to have to do another one. So they were going to do 3 of these checks that were so distressing to me. And I just lost it. I was hysterical. I was so upset because I felt so like nobody was hearing me or listening to me. And it was just the fact that second one was completely worth nothing because she didn't even do the test that they were going to do, and now they were going to have to do it again.
And they wonder why the baby's in distress.
Yeah, and what
the F?
I couldn't cope. So
Mum's in distress.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
So,
sorry.
They did it again. The test was normal. He was not in distress. He was fine. But at that point, I was in extreme distress.
Exactly, and they don't care.
I was in so much distress.
Gosh.
I was about 6 centimetres dilated at that point. My doula had arrived.
It's pretty much transition.
Yeah,
it was like just before. Yeah,
my doula had come. She was being wonderful. She was helping. She was trying to advocate for me, but it was kind of at that point I really felt like I'd lost control. Like none of my coping mechanisms were working. I'd just gone over the edge. I was already exhausted. I'd been labouring since 6 a.m. So at that point I screamed for an epidural.
You know, you may have been in transition actually.
Only at 6 centimetres?
6, 7 they say. Like who knows, maybe you were at 7. Maybe I think you could have been.
But I lost the plot.
Because that's also when you lose the plot.
Yeah. I think I lost it because of the exams, back-to-back exams, and feeling...
It could have been a combo. Who knows? But that's when you told me this the first time, it infuriated me, and I'm just feeling the fury again. Yep.
I know.
Yep.
So I screamed for an epidural.
Yeah, fair. Fair.
And again, it was like a movie. Anita just knocked on the door. Like I literally screamed. She knocked on the door, and she came in. She's like, "Does somebody want me?" And I was, yes. And I got the epidural really quickly. Thankfully, I didn't have to wait a long time. I was told that there was a poor mum in the room next door that asked for it 5 minutes after I did, and then she obviously had to wait until I was done, so she had to wait quite a while because it takes a while. They did the epidural. I was able to be really still through contractions, and I just think it raises an interesting question about consent during medical procedures, because they tell you all the risks of an epidural and you have to consent to them, right? But how can you consent when you're in that much pain and you're in that vulnerable position? She could have literally said to me, there's a 50% chance your legs will fall off, and I still would have said yes.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting...
I think you need to kind of consent to it before you even go into birth.
Yes, which is why as much as it wasn't my...
Which is hard to do.
Much as I was hopeful I wouldn't have to have one, I was very open to it. Yep. So I was like, I've never done this before. I don't know what it's going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the epidural, and it was bliss. I fell asleep. I had a nap. I woke up 10 centimetres dilated. So I slept for an hour and we went from 6 or 7 to 10. Things were kind of feeling a lot more manageable then. I forgot the bit about... Okay, I'm jumping back and forth now. But the midwife support, I think that's another topic, right? There was a moment early in my labour where I had to go and get something from the car. Being Rowan, whose name you do know. I'm using both my son and husband.
I was like... I went to the car, wow.
I was in my car. Rowan had to go and get something from the car. My doula hadn't arrived yet. It was just me and this midwife. I was in the shower, labouring, having a contraction. And the midwife is at the front desk typing something on her computer. And she hears me, moaning, does not get up, does not come and check on me. You just hear her go, "Good job, Sarah!" And I literally remember being like, why are you doing this job?
I would rather you not even say anything.
I would rather you just not say anything and yell, good job from the other room without...
Because if anything, the good job switches your brain.
Yeah.
If anything, it doesn't help.
No.
Maybe after the contraction, but not during.
So, anyway, back to where we were. I'm 10 centimetres dilated. I've got the epidural on board. I've had a power nap. I've got a new awesome midwife who came in on shift change just before the birth. Her name was Tyrrell. And she was so cool and so calm. And I remember her saying to me something along the lines of, I'm just going to go and get a cup of tea. I'm going to come back. I'm going to have a baby. She was just so, normalised the whole thing. And she was really helpful. She was really good. But anyway, okay, so I'm 10 centimetres. I am ready to push. I am unfortunately on my back, which is not the best position, but given how exhausted I was, it was the best position for me at that time.
And with epidural, they say it can be easier and better.
And I could, thankfully, I could still feel, like, I still knew when to push. I could feel the pressure of the contractions. So, I was pushing for quite a while, and I think, I pushed for over 2 hours.
Wow.
Like, I pushed for a really long time, which is not good. And near the end, R's heart rate was going up and down again and doing weird stuff. And all of these doctors came into the room, like suddenly the room was flooded with people. And I just remember the midwife, Tyrrell, really advocating for me, and so did my doula, because I think, in hindsight, I think they were probably talking about a C-section, because I'd been pushing for so long, his heart rate, the doctors were in. And I remember the midwife just looking the doctor in the eye and saying, watch her, like, look, watch her push, she can do this. And just hearing her say that, I was like, I can do this. And I feel like if I'd had a different midwife, and this is the luck thing again, I just got lucky that it was her. I feel like if I'd had another midwife in that moment say something different, I would have just despaired and given up.
Yeah.
And I really am grateful for her. I think she made a big difference. So, I eventually pushed him out. As I was pushing, the doctor said something along the lines of, like, you can see she's going to have a really bad tear. I'm going to do an episiotomy. And then they were about to do forceps as well. But thankfully, the episiotomy was enough, and I was able to get out. Whether or not I needed that episiotomy or if it helped me, I don't know. Because, as you know, I had a horrible time recovering after birth. And I also had a separate tear as well. So it didn't stop me tearing. So I question whether I ended up just having the natural tear I was going to have and the episiotomy to heal, as opposed to just it would have just been one. Who knows? Anyway, pushed him out. He was huge, 4.25 kilos.
You were big in pregnancy.
I was big towards the end of pregnancy, but it's just funny because, as we said last week, they were saying the whole way through, because of my marginal cord insertion, he might not grow enough, like he might be small.
He was so big.
It was so big.
And Sarah's small. Like, you guys may not be able to see, like, you're not small, but, like, you're a petite person.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
You know, even your feet are tiny.
Yeah, I do have
I know. I know.
And Rowan's like 5'8". Like, we are not huge people.
No.
No one was expecting this big baby. Anyway, so I had him. He was big. And the doctor said, almost kind of angrily, like, well, how did this happen? Like, this should have been a planned cesarean.
What? Yeah. Why?
Because
how big he was. Oh, for goodness sake.
How big he was, and the fact that I had a hard time getting him out.
I'm sorry, women can birth big babies.
And I was like, what a stupid thing to say. Like, I've just done the thing. I'm obviously in pain. I've obviously had some trauma. Like, what is the point in saying it should have been a plan? So, anyway.
No, I just feel like whacking him with one of my books.
I know. My doula took some beautiful birth photos of being born, and in the background, this doctor that I'm talking about.
I know, I've seen them.
It's just like...
Yeah. Can we just Photoshop them out? Okay, can we just please acknowledge the most beautiful part of your birth?
The next bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he came out, and we were obviously a bit worried because we'd been told his heart rate was doing weird things, but he came out perfect. Mm-hmm. He was made the scream cry straight away.
It's the most beautiful sound in the world.
He came straight to my chest, and, like, the whole world shifted. Like, it was just so incredible to have him, this baby I've been dreaming of and feeling in real life, on my chest. I'm so lucky. He lapped straight away. I was in such a blissful state that I actually had a postpartum hemorrhage that I didn't notice. Like, literally, I'm here in complete bliss. Had a hemorrhage. I think it was like 1.5 liters of blood or something. Thankfully, they gave me the
way you say it. Anyway.
Oh, lol. It was fine. They gave me, like, the needle with whatever it is to stop it, and it stopped straight away. So it was not that scary. It was dealt with fine. But I didn't even notice because I was just in heaven.
That's real oxytocin.
Yes.
That is oxytocin.
Yep.
You don't feel it, just holding your baby. Well, luckily you already had the epidural too, but still.
Thank goodness. I'm actually so grateful that I had it because of how many stitches I needed.
Exactly, like you're already done, yeah.
Like, I needed a lot of... It took them quite some time to stitch me up from just a vaginal birth. They were stitching away for a while. And there was another doctor there. There was a male doctor that wasn't great, I'll be honest. And then there was a female doctor that I really liked. And she said to me, I'm really tired. My shift is about to end. I'm going to wait 5 minutes for the fresh new doctor to come and do your stitches because I know she'll do a better job because she's fresh.
Good on her.
And I just remember being like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, for acknowledging. Like,
instead of like, I'm just going to get this done.
Yeah, she literally was like, I want you to have.
Good on her.
Yeah. So
and she knew that it wasn't rushed.
Yes. So, my baby's on my chest. I've done the thing. I've birthed the baby. We get the golden hours. We've got the skin to skin. And I'm just feeling like pride for myself, gratitude that my baby is here, that my baby is healthy. We're just in a bliss love bubble. And then after that bubble, which was probably, 90 minutes, 2 hours, Rowan had his cuddle. And whilst they were having a cuddle, I wanted to shower. Like, I felt disgusting. I really like to be clean. I'm a clean person. I wanted to shower in the birth suite before we went to the postpartum ward. And my doula, like, I will cry. I think it's like a woman supporting woman thing. Like, I would have been comfortable if Rowan had done this, but like I didn't really want it to be him. Like, the way she held me and helped me have a shower, and just like after what we just been through, I feel like we're like bonded for life by that weird experience of how she held me in that moment. It was really special. And
remember we spoke about role models. It's kind of like she was a mum in that moment.
Yes. She really was.
Yeah.
She's just
a mum to you in that moment.
Yeah. She also did a really great job of advocating for me, and even though things kind of did get a bit out of hand, the episiotomy and stuff, she literally was like, pause. She was like, are you okay? Like, she really held space for me, even though I don't feel like I had much of a choice, and I kind of feel like I had to just say yes to get out safely. But she did a great job.
We'll talk about you need to say yes in my birth story, but yes.
Yeah. And I think that's probably where we'll leave it. There's a lot more that happened. There was I reckon the first few days after birth, we're going to talk about that in a postpartum episode, aren't we? So I reckon we'll leave the birth bit there. What do you think?
Yeah, if you're happy, it's up to you. It's your birth. I haven't
told you before. Do you have questions?
No, I think it's just, brought back my fury at wanting to whack people for you.
Yeah. The only other thing I'll say is just how I felt probably in the immediate aftermath, because I think I probably felt more positive about my birth at the time than I do now. Mm-hmm. Because I remember at the time thinking...
That's also oxytocin.
Yeah, but I remember at the time thinking, well, I wanted 3 things. I wanted a healthy baby, I wanted a vaginal birth, and I wanted immediate skin to skin. And I got all those 3 things. Mm-hmm. So really I have nothing to complain about. But now in hindsight, it's like, yes, those things are true, and oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. But also I had an induction that wasn't performed properly, which made my labour go on for hours longer than it would have otherwise. I felt not listened to. I had more vaginal checks than needed, despite letting everyone know how traumatic I was finding them. I had an episiotomy and another tear. I had a postpartum hemorrhage. Like, it was not... I don't think any birth is perfect, but there was stuff that sucked that I kind of didn't allow myself or give myself permission to think about.
Yep.
I was just like, well, I wanted 3 things. I've got 3 things, tick.
Yeah. Well, that's also the way that you had your mindset towards in your postpartum. It was kind of just like, it's not that bad.
Yes.
So it's just something that I think you tend towards. It's like, I've got this, so I can't have this. And it's just like, you can have both.
Yes. Yeah.
You can hold both, and I hope that you can hold both now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And also I hope that you can feel angry or whatever emotions need to feel.
Yeah.
Because, just like, F them.
Yeah.
I remember when you first told me the story and you were kind of, you're still like high from it, which is I love about birth, especially vaginal birth, how high you can be about birth because it's your baby.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing your story going, that's not good. And I remember going to my midwife at the same hospital saying, this happened to my friend in this hospital.
Yeah.
I don't, like, this should not be happening.
Yep.
Like, I was like, why did that happen to her?
Yeah.
And even she was shocked. She was like, what?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So she was like, that should not have happened.
No.
And so I was like, why did this happen? And how can we make sure that doesn't happen to me?
Yeah.
So I didn't have what you had, but can I potentially give a different perspective? Now, again, we never know what happens, but maybe this can help you have a different perspective of your birth. But waters can break naturally when you're even giving birth. The baby can actually be born still in the sac.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And it can help for them to rotate. Like, the human body is natural and amazing at doing that.
Yeah.
So I am the sort of person spiritually that doesn't believe in coincidence or things that, like, I do believe that things happen in the end the way that they're meant to. And I see that as well for my birth, and that has helped me. But for example, my waters broke a bit too soon, in my opinion, and that was because we think it's because of the vaginal exam.
Yeah.
So my waters broke when she did a vaginal exam. I'll talk about this, but if I didn't have that vaginal exam and my waters broke so early, I think I actually would have been able to, like, I had a very different labour.
Yeah.
So it may not have actually been a bad thing because that helps with rotation, because they have more liquid and movement.
Yep.
So who knows? Maybe that also helped with him to get in a good positioning.
That's the other thing that I completely...
Because you never know.
That's the other thing I completely forgot, is when I was between being 10 centimetres and starting to push, he was in a really bad position.
Yep.
So the midwives told me to wait, which I did, and it was so hard. And I waited for like 45 minutes they moved me, because you can't move much with the epidural. They moved me into all these different positions to get him to flip, and it was really uncomfortable and really hard, but he did it. He
did. Good on him.
And he flipped, and then I was able to push. So,
and that's also why I like, when it's like a big baby, it annoys me so much, because I mean, he was big, and he could still rotate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, he's doing all the things.
Yeah.
Your body did all the things.
And I do think maybe it is a gift that I didn't know how big he was, because if I found out how big he was, probably would have been pressured into a planned cesarean, probably would have been terrified.
Yep.
And I did it. I pushed him out.
You did it. 100%.
I did it.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go with your birth story.
Yes. So, 3 days, well, you could say I was either 2 days before my due date or I was on my due date, because the due dates change all the time, and they did say 13th of November one time.
Yeah.
So he could have been born exactly on his due date. I don't actually, this time around, I don't even know what my due date is.
Yeah, it should be a window. In some countries in Europe, they give you like a 2-week window of when the baby could come.
I literally just say mid to late May.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what the date is.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a date. So anyway, that day, Sven and I did an activity that my father, who's a psychiatrist, said that every person he's told to do this activity has had the baby that night.
Why do I feel like you're going to set your concerns?
No, we're not wrong. My dad...
I was like,
luckily my dad did not give me that advice.
Like,
I mean, he would, but he didn't.
Oh gosh, what did you do?
No, it's this exercise that the man holds, or that your birth partner holds their hand, I think, like this.
Yeah. And
then, like, together, they hold their hands together. Anyway, I'll maybe do a video and put it on Instagram. And then the woman, or the birthing person, has their hands kind of like a head and has to push through. And you breathe and breathe and breathe until you do it just gently. And it's kind of like, it's meant to kind of psychodramatically break through the barriers of your mind that you're not ready. It's to come through. So I did that day with Sven. And then at 2 a.m. I started having contractions, and I started timing them because I had contractions previously, and I was like, I'm not sure. But these contractions came on fast. So within an hour, I was already contracting. My brain doesn't work. So it was in the window of like, this is definitely labor.
Yeah.
It felt like active labor. It did not feel like early labor, because it was every like 2 to 3 minutes for like a minute or more.
Yeah.
So it was like active labor. So we lasted from 2 till 7 a.m. and then that's when I lost my mucus plug. We called the hospital. They could hear that I'm struggling, because that's what they always say, like, we have to hear you struggling. And then we went into the hospital. That was not a fun drive. Yeah, I did not enjoy that drive. Pillow helped. I just cuddled the pillow and just, like, relaxed into it.
Yes.
I don't remember the drive. But we got there, and the woman was the midwife that we got. So I was in the MGP. You're meant to have your midwife, but my midwife had just had a birth the day before.
Okay.
So she wasn't on. So I had another midwife, and she was extremely cold straight away. It's almost like she didn't want to be there. She was, like, almost annoyed by me. And she was, like, really bothered by me. I honestly felt like a burden to her. And even Sven was like, this woman is not talking to you nicely.
No.
And so she did a vaginal exam, even though I was, like, a bit scared about it, and she didn't, like, comfort me in it. So she did a vaginal exam. She's like, oh, you're only 3 centimeters. I'm gonna go back. Like, you may have to come back later. And I'm just like, but why am I contracting so fast?
Yeah.
And she didn't have an answer for me. I had a posterior labor. That's why. Posterior labors, which is head against your spine. Your body naturally wants to contract more because it's trying to move the baby.
Yes.
It's a natural process.
Yes.
That's also why if your waters are still intact, the waters help to rotate the baby.
Yes.
My waters were still intact at that point. After she did the vaginal exam, she felt that he had hair. My waters broke.
Yeah.
She probably broke the waters with her fingers.
Yeah.
Which is what they do. So my waters broke, and then they can't send me home. So I go into the birth suite. She's barely present, and actually walking to the birth suite, she tells me to be quiet. So I'm laboring and I'm contracting and I'm groaning, because also I can't focus on my breathing because I'm literally walking.
Yeah.
So I'm walking from one end to another end, and so it's a long walk down a hallway, and I'm contracting. So I start, like, groaning, or, like, the natural, like, moo sounds a woman makes. And she says to me, you, like, oh, stop making that noise. It's not going to help you. And I'm just like, I can't really stop the noise.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, so I had a big cry about that a couple of months ago, like when I was pregnant for this second time around, because it came back to me.
Yeah.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
And it just hit me again. And my midwife this time has said, I have a private midwife this time for this exact reason. And she said, anything that comes, allow it to come and hold space for it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it may come in birth or postpartum.
Yeah.
We don't want it there.
No, let it now.
So let it come now. So it came, I acknowledged it, and I was like, I did not deserve that. So I held myself in that, because I'm like, you can't speak to someone, anyone like that, let alone a labouring woman.
No.
So we got to the birth suite. I went on the bed, and I should have been moving more, but again, this midwife just let me sit on the bed. So I just sat on the bed and I started contracting. But I felt amazing, because I actually was able to breathe through the contractions, and I kind of liked the contractions.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, this is cool. It's coming. I can breathe through it. What was a problem was that in between the contractions, I had this agonizing back pain. TENS machine also didn't work. Okay. TENS machine was, like, agonizing because it was already a back labor.
They say some people find it helpful, and other people it's really aggravating.
It was because also I had a back labor, so you're just adding extra pain on the back. It's like, oh, I've already got back pain. Yeah. I didn't know I had a back labor. I didn't know I had posterior at that point. Nobody told me that. That's what I wish someone had just said, Mel, you may be posterior. Like, he may be, like, spine to spine because you're having this back pain. Yeah. So anyway, I labored pretty much from this point. I was laboring from 2 a.m. until 7, and then from 7, and these were, like, every 2 to 3 minute contractions. Yeah. So then from 7 until 2 was a complete haze, and I was just focusing on my breathing. My doula was there, and she helped me get up and moving, and, like, on the ball and in the shower. And this midwife just came to say, we need another vaginal exam. You've been labouring for too long. Too long. I'm sorry, excuse my French, but my ass. Yeah. It's not. It's my first baby, A, and B, it's natural, and, like, it's like, I went into spontaneous labour, and C, it's posterior. Posterior could have lasted like 2 days. They just don't want me there for 2 days. No. So she forced a vaginal exam. I said no. She said you can't really say no. So she said
What?
Yeah, she said you can't really say no. You just have to say yes. You just have to do it. And I said to her, okay, whatever. So she did it, and honestly, it was okay, the vaginal exam. But then she said, again, words matter.
Yes.
She said you're only 4 centimeters. And so then she said, we need to do Pitocin. And I said, I can't do Pitocin and have this back pain.
No.
Because for me, it was like, I'm not resting. So you're meant to rest in between contractions. I couldn't rest.
Yeah.
So it was bang, 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 back pain. I was just not resting. By this point, I was laboring for 12 hours. So I said, okay, give me the epidural. And that's when I said, my girlfriend had epidural. She fell asleep, woke up. She was 10 centimeters. Let's do this.
She did.
Right? So I was actually really okay to have the epidural.
Yes.
Yes, I wanted without it, but I'm actually glad I did it. And speaking to a lot of people, they're like, Mel, you know what? I would have done the same.
Yeah.
And even people who are very pro, like, you know, all natural, you know, no, they're all like, I would have done the same. You know, posterior, all the different factors, 12 hours, like the epidural lets you to rest a bit and kind of go second round. So we did that. I lay down for a bit, and then they got me up again with the epidural, and I was walking. I was walking up and down the stairs, and I could feel that I was in transition. Yeah. So I could feel my body contracting a lot, and I could feel the pressure, and I was like, this is transition.
Yeah.
About an hour or two later, she was desperate for another vaginal exam. I just really didn't want another vaginal exam because I was like, I know my body is ready to push now. Maybe that's also my naivety, and also just I didn't trust her.
Yes, she had not made any kind of safe, warm, opening up space for you.
And she actually got really nice and started talking to me about her life and like just having chit chats after my epidural. So she only became nice when I stopped being in my kind of lioness mode. So in my lioness mode, I'm just like standing my ground and being like, no, I know what I want. As soon as I said yes to the epidural and the Pitocin, she was lovely.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. So then when she wanted the next, like the other vaginal exam, I said I didn't want it. I started to feel my body pushing just naturally. And she was like, no, that's impossible. Impossible that you can be pushing naturally because you have an epidural. And I'm like, well, then why am I pushing? So then I said to her, I have to go to the toilet, like number 2. And she was just like, no, you can't. You have an epidural. And I'm just like, I knew that me wanting to do a number 2 was me pushing.
Yeah.
And I felt everything in my butt. My butt was not numb. And I think it's also because of the posterior. So I could feel everything. It was really intense.
Yeah.
So I kept doing my breathing and just kind of like an FU to her, which is probably not a great thing, but I started just letting my body do what it was doing, and it was just naturally pushing.
Yeah.
And I was side lying, and I was pretty much pushing this whole time that she didn't know because I didn't want to tell her, which is also probably not a good thing. Then when her shift was over and the new midwife came, I finally felt safer with her, and I said, yes, you can do a vaginal exam.
Yeah.
She was much more calm. I don't remember her name, but she was really beautiful and calm. And she said, let's just check. She checked. She's like, yes, you're 10 centimeters. Let's help you push. I didn't want to just push on my back. I wanted to try different positions. We tried so many positions and I was pushing so much, but I almost felt like there was something wrong. Like I felt like I was pushing like this. Like I felt like I was pushing against something. Something was not right.
Yeah.
So I was also, they were monitoring me, and then that's when they said baby was in distress. Now for me, when I hear baby's in distress, I take it with a grain of salt, especially in a hospital. Again, not saying everybody has to do this, but for me, I'm just like, the way that they treated you, I was like, of course baby is in distress, in inverted brackets. You've just done Pitocin, you're invading, mum is stressed, of course.
Yeah.
Help mum calm down.
Yeah.
Listen to her.
Yeah.
If baby is still distressed, then look into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, bring her to a safer space. Then check. So when they said baby's distressed, I was like, it just doesn't feel right. And then they checked and they were like, he's in a hard position.
Yeah.
So we need to, and then they were very lovely. We had beautiful young resident doctors come in, very sweet, and said, I know this may be scary, and it wasn't at all. I wasn't scared whatsoever. Sven actually only recently said that he was scared of the panic that ensued from everyone coming in the room.
Yeah.
I was so calm with my breathing and just allowing anything to happen.
Yeah.
Then when they came in and they said, we have to take you into the operating room to see if we can rotate him.
Yeah.
So we just need to numb you a bit more to see if we can rotate him and then get him out just still naturally.
Yes.
Otherwise, we may have to do a cesarean.
Yes.
I was totally calm with that.
Yeah.
I just said, so long as he's okay. Is he okay? And they said, yes, he is.
Yeah.
Cool. So, funny/not funny, when they were, this is also why I have no shame anymore. They were wheeling me out and my legs were wide open with a blanket up for like half the walk down to the operating room.
Oh my God.
And then someone walked at the front and was like, did you guys realize that she's just not covered? And I again was like, I don't care. I felt like I wasn't covered, but I was just like, oh, I have an epidural, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So then we went into the operating theatre, and that's when it got a little bit scary, because I immediately noticed they weren't doing any of the things that I had put in my birth plan for an emergency cesarean. I had asked for lights to be a bit more dimmed, and they said, we don't do that. So immediately that annoyed me, going, well, then why did you let me put it in my birth plan? Yes. Why didn't you inform me beforehand?
Because I think what's important to let everyone know is that you go through your birth plan with the midwife at the hospital.
Exactly, beforehand.
They go through it line by line and talk to you about it. So if there's something on it that the hospital is never going to say yes to, it needs to be called out by the midwife in that appointment.
Exactly. So that's also what annoyed me. I was like, well, then why did I not think that could happen?
Yeah.
So I'm going into this operating room. Sven's separated from me because he has to be dressing for the theatre. The doula can't come in because they can't have an extra person. There are like 16 people in the room, like not joking.
Yeah.
I'm lying down. They kind of put you in like a crucifix position. So they like put your arms out and kind of like hold them out. So I'm like lying in like a crucifix position. They're trying to numb me and they just can't numb me fully. So they keep touching my belly and I keep feeling it.
Yeah.
That they actually end up bringing the senior anesthesiologist to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And they were talking about two possibilities that were also kind of terrifying. But again, I was semi-calm about it. I was like, whatever needs to happen for my baby. But they were like, we either have to cut her and she'll feel it, or we have to put her under.
GA, yeah.
And I was like, I'd rather cut you and feel it than GA.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I was pretty calm about it. And so this was the part. This part was my trauma that I have been able to hold myself with as much as possible and kind of reframe in my brain.
Yeah.
But I turn to whoever is at my head. Again, I am lying in a crucifix position, and I turn to whoever is next to my head and I say to them, whatever happens, and here come the tears, whatever happens, I need you to put my baby on my chest. I don't care if he's dirty. I don't care if he's covered in stuff. I just want him on my chest. And she says we can't do that. Oh, she said, no, she didn't even say we can't do that. Whoever it was like, oh, that's ridiculous. We have to clean him first. And I said, no.
No, you don't.
And that's what I said. I said, please, no, you don't have to clean him. Just put him on my chest.
Yeah.
And then I started singing because they said, okay, we're going to try to rotate him. So they tried to rotate him and take him out, and they couldn't. They said, no, he's really stuck. So he had a face presentation. So he wasn't just down, but his face was up. So his face was like literally face first, and it was almost impossible. Like, it would have been impossible really for him to come out.
Yeah.
And this is why we have cesareans. This is why they're so important.
Exactly, they save lives.
Yeah, 100%. I'm all for them. So they said we have to cut. No worries. I started singing the lullaby that I was singing the whole time in my pregnancy. So I started singing it. And he came out to me singing it, and he immediately cried. His APGAR was perfect, which means he could have been on my chest.
He came out fine.
He came out crying and absolutely perfect. The photos, he comes out bloody, and then 2 seconds later, he's already clean. So I don't even know how they did that. So there's literally photos of him one moment bloody, the next minute clean.
They must have wiped him.
Yeah, and then straight away, they took him away. And then I'm lying in this crucifix position, cut open, and Sven goes over to be with him, and I hear him crying so much, and he's crying because he wants mommy.
He's trying to find his mum.
And I'm just like, oh my God, I want my baby. And it's only probably like a couple of minutes, but it felt like an eternity.
Yeah. It should never have happened.
And so they take him away, and I just hear those cries, and it was like agony. And then they bring him back, and they put him on my chest, and he immediately stopped crying.
Yeah.
And you see it in the photos too. You see the photos of him with Sven, and he's crying the whole time, and Sven's trying to comfort him, and I'm like, you're not going to give him any comfort. At least not on a bed.
No.
You know, you have to be skin to skin or something. And so then they bring him to me. They put him on my chest. I don't know for how long. And then they take him away again. They stitch me up. They wrap him up. And he's gone. Sven's gone. They're stitching me up. And then I know for a fact, because of timestamps with the photos that I can't look at, photos that I've just browsed, but they take him away. And they, I come back into the, after operating room, I don't remember what it's called, where you just wait in between going back to the birth suite. Yeah, recovery. By the way, that was all like 15 hours of labour or more. I don't remember. I think it was like 15 hours. It was from 2 a.m. until 8 p.m. He came out at 8:30 p.m. So then he's not on my chest until around 10 p.m. So an hour and a half. He's held by Sven, but he's not on me. He's also completely drugged because they had to give me more drugs to numb me. So he's really, really drugged. Zero, like, not enough skin to skin, that's what I don't classify it. So 0 to skin, no golden hours. And then they try to put him on me almost 2 hours later, and he doesn't latch.
Of course he doesn't.
And so then that's kind of postpartum episode. Yeah. But it's just like, that was the most traumatic part of my labour, was not being heard or being respected. The rest of it, I was able to breathe through. I was able to even, in my mind, sometimes rewrite that he went on my chest. But when I hear stories of people that actually got it, or when I see that it actually happened, that it should happen, that's when I break, because I know that we didn't have that, and I just feel bad that he didn't get that.
And that you didn't.
Yeah, that we didn't get that. And it affected so much after.
And there's no reason for it. I'm going to get emotional because I obviously have heard this before, and I knew that he was taken unnecessarily. His APGAR was fine, he was crying, there is no medical reason for him to be taken. Why was he taken twice? What could they possibly do?
They say because they had to stitch me up, and I'm like, they can stitch
you can do that
with a newborn. I mean, come on, it's not like he's giant.
He can be on your chest while they're doing that.
So I pushed and begged for a birth debrief.
Yes.
And I went back to the hospital. They made me wait for like 3 hours, which I was like also breaking down by that point. But when I went in and I did the birth debrief with them, they actually, and I cried in that session, of course, they said to me, they said that shouldn't have happened.
They apologised.
They did. They apologised. They took accountability, and they said, they did say it's a new hospital policy that the baby has to be with the mother, and they were probably like so rushed with what was happening that they forgot the new policy. But it is now policy to have bub on you, especially if they have a good APGAR. And I mean, the thing is if he didn't have a good APGAR, I would understand.
Of course.
If my baby's not crying, please, can you help?
Do everything you can, yeah.
But I mean, it's like, don't take my baby.
I think and that's why there's 2 layers of trauma. I think anyone who's had separation from baby has trauma. But when you add the layer in that it didn't have to happen, it's a whole other layer.
And also just asking for it, like literally a couple of seconds before. And
matters to me.
So it's not only like they would have forgotten. It's like I literally asked.
Yeah.
And maybe I didn't ask the right person, but how am I supposed to know who to ask? There's 16 people in the room.
And I think something that's a bit of a parallel with both of our stories and just shows how important it is to have the right midwife is that, yeah, as I said, I wasn't in a good position either, but thankfully that new good midwife had come on and she had made me feel safe and built that rapport with me. So when she told me, wait, we're going to help you try and rotate, I was able to hear her because it was really hard. My body was like, push, push, push.
Yeah.
It was, waiting for that 45 minutes was so hard.
Yeah.
And I just feel so sad that the midwife that you had for most of your labour didn't make you feel safe and didn't, like...
Even Sven was like, no, that she was... Yeah, I did report her.
Good.
I did report her because I was just like, you need to have someone who listens. She had never had kids either, and I think that's a massive thing. If you haven't had babies, if you haven't been through this process, it's like you just need a mum. I'm not saying all midwives have to be mums, but I'd say it definitely helps. So
it's just that whole level of understanding of what the women you're helping are going through.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it's also just like, I think once you're a mum, a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time, you just have this, you're a mum to everyone.
Yeah.
You just have that thing. And again, not everybody has that, but I think a lot, especially if you're in that field, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But anyway, this time round, with all of that in mind, I am still going for a VBAC because I laboured on my own. Yeah. You know? I know I can do it. Yeah. I know I can do it. You were unmedicated.
Yeah. We talk about luck. You were unlucky that C was in a bad position.
Exactly. And if it happens again and we have to do a cesarean, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know? I'm doing all the things that we can do. I'm even visualizing that she's in the right position. You know, all those things. I even did everything I could to get him in the right position, even beforehand. I was not leaning back. I was always leaning forward in the last couple of months. Yeah. I even did everything I could back then. You know, he's just that sort of kid. He's a Scorpio. He's just stubborn. You know, but it's just, this time, VBAC, private midwife. Yeah. You know, I just said to her, I just need to be heard and respected.
Exactly.
And, you know, is as simple and as ridiculous as that sounds, because that should just be bare minimum.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't wait for us to talk next week about breastfeeding and early postpartum.
I can.
Because you are just an absolute warrior, and I think knowing what you went through and what you've spoken about today, and then knowing about what's coming next, I'm so proud of you, and I hope that you are so proud of yourself. And I think it's really inspiring.
I think saying I'm proud of myself is really hard.
I hope you are, though.
I think I am. Mm. Yeah, I think I am. I'm just so glad that I've associated the breast with comfort for him, whether he ever fed there properly or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we did the best we could.
1,000%. You did an incredible job.
Yeah. And this time round, VBAC, still seeing a pelvic floor physio and preparing for I'm just doing the same prep as last time because I really feel like I did everything I could and it was helpful.
I think the other thing you did so well is advocate for yourself after birth. You know, resting for that debrief, knowing that you had experienced birth trauma and getting the help that you needed. So I guess putting your therapist hat on now, what would you say to someone that's had a difficult birth? Whether that's as extreme as yours or, you know, more like mine, whether someone that's gone through a difficult birth, what would you say to them?
If you have any inkling that your birth was hard, that it triggers any emotions outside of sheer joy and excitement, chat about it.
Yeah.
And either start chatting about it with a trusted friend.
Yes.
If you don't feel comfortable to see a therapist yet.
Yeah.
But I will always advocate therapy. It's just hard to find a really good one sometimes. So that's why sometimes a trusted friend, or in future, if you do have a midwife that you could trust and open up with, or a health professional. But have space for it. Don't, because you are so strong and powerful. Let that strength shine, because we are strong when it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that we're strong just when it's easy. We are strong when it's hard. So hold that, please.
Yeah. I have one more question for you. How important was it to you to process your birth trauma before deciding to try for baby number 2?
It was important for me to process it before I even continued with my postpartum experience, let alone number 2.
Yeah.
But definitely for number 2, because when you're pregnant, a lot of emotions come up, as I said before. So if I hadn't have processed it before, it would be hitting me way more now. And that's not fair on her.
No.
That's not fair on her for me to be feeling so much of that.
Yeah.
Because they feel that. So other stuff is coming up now that I haven't processed. So I'm just like, well, I'm glad I don't have everything to process now.
Exactly.
You know, I have breastfeeding trauma now to process.
Yes.
But I don't have to process the birth anymore. I just have to hold space for it.
Yes. Yeah.
You could process it and still hold space. Yeah. So next time we're going to talk about postpartum.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be a very long few episodes about the different elements of postpartum. So that's just going to be like our first kind of step in the pool, probably about like more breastfeeding, right?
I think there's too much there's way too much postpartum to put into one episode. So I think next episode will be breastfeeding. Yeah. And then the next one after that, probably a deep dive into postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety.
Yeah.
Is where I think we should go.
The fun stuff.
The fun stuff.
But
thank you.
All I will say is I'm also really looking forward to birth this time.
Yes.
And I was looking forward to it the first time, and I'm looking forward to the second time because I get to meet my baby.
Yeah.
And I also get to meet myself.
Yes.
I get to see me go through that and feel that, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I think Sven's a bit more terrified than I am. Anyway, thank you for joining us, guys. And we'll see, you will see us or hear us next time. Yeah. For whoever is listening.
Yeah, I know. At least we get to chat about it.
I know, right? Okay, we did it.